only one stable thing, it's changes.
That was one of the motivations for me to build this tool.
Everyone had this struggle and everyone had this challenge.
Spending ridiculous amounts of time in, say, Facebook ad cabinet, we're all becoming managers of the artificial intelligence.
True.
When you say, guys, if you think that you will have the same kind of work in a year from now, you're mistaken. That's not going to happen.
How we can help our customers to implement AI. Everyone in this studio is telling that it's bullshit, forget.
It's a great question. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Anton Voroniuk and I'm happy to have you in our GenAI Revolution Podcast. Today we have special guest, it's Eugene Vyborov, and he is the founder of Ability.ai. Hi Eugene.
Hello, thank you for having me here. And first of all, I'm a co-founder. That is important to note. I have my CTO and co-founder Alexei as well. And without him, I wouldn't be building all of that, to be honest. But happy to answer your questions.
Yeah, we will be happy to learn a little bit more about Ability.ai. Tell what is this tool and how it can help marketers to make their life easier and faster.
Okay, let me start a little bit from the back to explain where the motivation comes from for this thing. So it's pretty evident that we're going into the world of AI agents in general. And an interesting thing that I was telling to my team, like literally a couple of weeks ago, I was saying, like, look, we're all becoming managers of the artificial intelligence.
True.
That's unavoidable. It's everybody's profession now. Like we're going there. But the point is, with all of these agents and all of these automation tools around us, especially as intelligent as what we have now, it means that solopreneurs and small teams will be able to make massively bigger impact than they're able to do now. We can already see that. We can see small teams like making drastic impacts. We can see like digital commerce shop turning over tens of millions with 5 people and a few agencies in the team. Yeah, something like that. And I think this trend is gonna continue. And moreover, I think this trend might be the only good exit for us from the AI apocalypse. What I mean is that, yes, AI are automating a lot of jobs, and a lot more things will be able to be done with the use of AI only and without humans. And so what will be left for them is use those tools in order to build their own small businesses, large businesses, make their impact somehow. And that was one of the motivations for me to build this tool, because what I really want to achieve is I want to give an instrument to people to automate the mundane parts of the performance marketing, like automate it entirely so that they were left to just ingest their big picture and creative solutions and insights into what is the secret sauce of their particular product or marketing or whatever it is. And the rest would have been done by those agents. And, that was the initial sort of desire to go there. Now we realize that actually, this performance marketing automation is very interesting to e-commerce businesses, to agencies helping those e-commerce businesses and other folks. So that's where we're directing our attention towards those guys and helping them automate this process as much as possible while making sure that it actually performs as it's supposed to.
Now tell us about your AI agents. For whom, what the result, and how it can be used.
So look, what I want to achieve at the end of the day, and maybe I should have brought some graphics with me, like, I don't know, slide or something.
If you send us images, we can make it in the video.
Okay. So here is the image.
Yeah.
Point is, I think if we look at the performance marketing as the entire process, you can decouple it into a few steps. It starts with developing a strategy for whatever it is you're selling. You're sitting down, looking at the competitors, you're analyzing the trends on the market, you're developing your understanding of your target audiences, and creating value propositions and that kind of stuff. So it starts there. The next step is you're working on, okay, I have these guys, I know how to reach them through which channels, and I need to develop certain creatives to reach them. And you go ahead and you make creatives. Maybe you can make landing pages as well that are speaking directly to this person. But the most interesting part happens after that. And that's exactly the same process that you can see right now in agencies. People start campaigns, they look at the preliminary results of those campaigns, they see if they're performing or not. If they are, they're doubling down. If they're not, they're shutting it off. And they're basically running this experimentation over and over again, spending ridiculous amounts of time in, say, Facebook ad cabinet, trying to find which of the buttons is the right one to click.
Sure.
This is really a big problem. So what we are doing is we have agents that actually close this loop. And as of a month ago, I can now tell you that we have developed an agent that actually does close the loop. So it basically, buys the media, buys the ads, it looks at the results, analyzes the results, and adjusts the strategy and tactics based on that. Now, that's not it, because the next component of that is looking at the insights of running this experimentation, like what is working, what is not working, and adjusting the strategy so that your strategy became sort of a blueprint for the best way to sell your product out there. And the objective of this whole thing is to build this entire thing. And we have started with the strategy. This product is currently available. The strategy agent is available on the website. People can play with that, but really this is just, it's a child play in comparison to what we have right now in beta with some beta customers. Because
when the beta will be public?
Yeah, the beta will be public. But to be honest, my focus right now is to make sure that my agent can reliably demonstrate that it can sell at least as well as 80% of the marketers. So once I have data to show that, I'm happy to open it to the public and let other peoples in and have fun with it. Right now, we're working with a select group of e-commerce shops and a couple of agencies. Trying to make it work in a way that makes sense, really. We built the strategy piece. Now we sort of, the agent understands what's happening. This is the first stage. Then we build the piece that creates landing pages. And now we've built the piece and closed this loop about a month ago, which is buying the media from, at this point, only Facebook, analyzing and adjusting the media strategy, basically, based on that. Now, the goal at the end of the day, or the vision of that, is to make it multi-platform. The reason being is I know for a fact, literally like 30 minutes ago, I was talking to someone from Google who confirmed me once more to me that they're building exactly the same stuff. And I had similar conversation with WPP, who said that they're building it together with Google as well, and that kind of stuff. And so I know that the activity is happening and they're doing the same, but they will always be doing that for themselves.
Sure.
Google will always only do that for Google.
It will be as a part of toolkit like Performance Max, etc.
Yeah, and my objective and the way I am different is that I'm building that for multiple channels simultaneously, so that at the end of the day, you can have this almost like a black box machine of automated autonomous agents that are running your performance marketing parts with multiple channels. And you're coming to them and you're saying, hey guys, I want you to focus on this audience because there's this event happening in this area, and we might want to try it out there. And that's all the work you're doing towards that. The rest is being executed from the agent side.
If you talk about future of AI agents, right now, a lot of tools that I'm working with, they shifted from like some concept they had before this to AI agents. Why AI agents? Why this trend was in 2024? Why it will be still stable in 2025? And why do you see this perspective from AI agents?
Like, I don't even look at it as a trend per se. I think it's just the reality that we live in.
Yeah, but on all conferences, the guys are talking that it's trend.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this you can call it a brand now. Like agents is a brand overall in the market. But the reality is, when we're talking about any intelligent system, once the intelligent system can not just chat with you, but it can make decisions and execute those decisions, it becomes an agent. And it really becomes a sort of a...
Can you give for our audience your definition of AI agent?
Yeah, basically it's what I just did. it's a complex system, an AI system that can make decisions and execute those decisions.
Sure.
So the level of decision making, the data it looks at in order to make those decisions is a completely domain specific thing. The kind of tools that it has access to in order to execute those decisions is also very complex and different for every domain. And in our case, for example, like our agents will be looking at Google Trends as an example, as a source of information, make decisions, and use Facebook API as a tool to execute its own decisions.
To manage it, yeah.
You basically are building like a complex intelligence system that is in the perfect implementation. When once we reach that, could become completely autonomous in executing and getting to the goal that you told it to get to. And we're taking this gradual steps towards that, but it's clearly happening.
When it was talking about your AI agents, your AI bot, there was thesis that you have agencies as your clients. Why agencies? Why do you want to help agencies? Don't give the client the final tool that can be the AI agency for him.
Well, I'll tell you this way. I look at my target audience not as a company, but as a person, as a marketer. We're making marketers' life easier. They don't have to be a buyer of this, but they are basically a user. And we're moving them from the level of abstraction where they are like dealing with the Facebook cabinets to the level of abstraction of doing that. Really, in fact, there is very little difference in how that would be approached from the brand perspective versus from the agency perspective. What happens is that brands just outsourcing this to the agency and saying, now your marketer is going to be sitting there looking at that and giving me weekly reports about the performance, rather than having someone in-house.
I'm in agency business pretty long time, from 2008. And if we talk about the experience, I had a lot of friends of mine who tried to do some automation for Google, for Facebook, and so on. And historically, Google and Facebook always killing what people try to automate. They, as you've mentioned, try to implement it in the system. How do you want to fight with it? So you are creating the thing that can be part of some Google machine learning algorithm, performance max, etc. And for Facebook, it can be Advantage Plus, etc. So how it will be connected when the guys have the automation on the side of Google and Meta, and they have Ability.ai? What is the advantage of using this toolkit?
Two questions to unpack over here. First of all is, yes, they're fighting with automation. I think it's going to be much harder for them to fight with this wave of automation because basically the only way to do that is to cut you off the API. And as long as they
definitely want to do it.
Well, yeah, they want to do it from time to time. But as long as they keep the API up and running, we should be fine. And, there's plenty of companies. If we take like Facebook media buying, for example, there's plenty of companies that are doing specifically that in a traditional way. Like they're doing like rule-based automation out there. And it works, and they work for many years, and they're fine. From the API perspective, we're using exactly the same API methods. It's just that the logic of decision-making and additional data sources that we get is different. Now, why would people use us versus them individually? I think the angle that we're taking here is by being omni-channel and offering this opportunity and saying, hey, look, you wouldn't get it from either of those. Now, that's one angle. The other angle is something, it's quite new in what we do, but over the last few months, we have figured out a way to build customized agents for your needs, for your agency or for your brand, with the decision-making that you like to use in your media buying in a matter of days. So before that, it was months and months of time. And you probably have heard of things like Cursor and Zed and similar kind of stuff. So what we've done internally is we've built we started with building the actual framework for developing agents. So we're not using something like AutoGen
the
or
performance
LangChain.
marketing was just the easiest case.
Performance marketing wasn't the easiest. We'll talk about them, but
it was the most measurable case.
Yes, there are reasons for why.
That will be the next question.
Exactly. But so we built the framework for building agents, and over the last few months, we got this framework to the point when we can create the agents of our liking, doing whatever we like, and in using the decision-making style and logic that we like in a matter of days rather than a matter of months. So what it means is that now I can come to your agency and say, hey, Anton, tell me how you like to do your performance marketing. And you giving me your specific insights on how you're doing that. We're building it into your specific agent on our platform. And it's only yours because I know that those things that are important for you, they are your competitive advantage. The way you specifically do this performance marketing, it's just that now instead of your people doing execution of those steps, my agents are going to be doing the execution of those steps for you. At the same time, keeping this competitive advantage to you because this is your sort of custom version of the agent.
Sounds really interesting. These guys are always asking me for some metrics, digits, and so on. Guys, if you're asking, put like to this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give the digits. How tools like yours can increase efficiency of performance marketing campaigns.
I don't have digits yet, just being straightforward with you because we're at the phase of beta testing. I will tell you what I'm trying to achieve with that and what we seem to be achieving. Right now, it feels like the decision-making level of those agents that we're building is approaching about 80 percentile of the marketer expertise level. It's a very subjective kind of measure. I realize it. I understand it. What I do need for my company in order to show the progress of the agent's development is to clearly show that my agent not just performing at a level, giving you a ROAS of some sort, but actually is improving over time, indicating that it can learn and can pick up information from other places in order to improve its decision-making and improve its capabilities. And I think we're fairly close to demonstrating that, and it's a question of maybe a couple of months for us to show that. And once I have that, I can come to you or to any other brand or to any other agency and say, guys, look, this can perform. We've seen results and we know that it can improve. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will perform, in your setup in the same ways that it doesn't necessarily mean that it will perform in hiring the agency or something like that.
What trends do you see in AI agency in marketing? In this studio, I've already had a guy who is building just ICP AI agent. This solution just gives the possibility to build ICPs. Another one was about strategy. You also started about strategy. But at what moment we will have AI marketer, AI SMM manager, AI SEO manager, AI PPC? So how big this AI team can be? What do you want to get in this year? And what trend do you see long term?
AI and human intelligence are different. They're different in ways that both have their strong sides and their weak sides. A basic example is that AI's strong side could be the speed with which it can work and make decisions and iterate, versus human could be creativity. So we can say compare that a good marketer can spend a week planning a campaign and launch it and be successful, versus AI agent who can start 100 campaigns, identify 2 that work best, and go from there. Now, that means that when you build complex intelligence systems based on agents, if you embed them into the human process, you're sort of attaching them to human weaknesses. But if you build a process entirely using the agent, you can leverage the strong sides, and your process is going to look a little bit different from the way it would look if humans were involved.
AI first approach?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like a complex way to explain, like a simple term.
Yeah, okay.
But the point here is, let's take this performance marketing example, that the agents that we are building. Our agents are going to be iterating on a number of experiments all the time in an autonomous fashion and finding what works, the value propositions, combinations of words, creatives, whatever it is. Human would not be able and should not be really doing that in the same way because of the speed of this iterations. And the point I'm trying to make here is that sometimes it's more beneficial to build AI first. Other times it's more beneficial to include humans in the middle of the process, by that negating certain advantages of the AI agentic systems.
It's clear. If we talk about trends in AI and marketing, what trends do you see right now for the market?
That's what I said in the very beginning, I think. First of all, we're all becoming managers of the artificial intelligence. And
that's a good question.
It's so evident and so quick for that to happen because maybe it's not necessarily about the trends of marketing. We'll come back to that, but I think it's a very important point. There is an innate resistance in people to go through this change.
Yeah, everyone is scared a little bit.
Everyone is scared. To be honest, I'm scared because I'm in that every day. I know what's happening firsthand, and it's terrifying at times. But the only thing is, the only way to handle that is to be within it, to be inside of this whole change in order to stay, up to date at least. So I think the biggest change in at least the marketing profession is that we are going to learn, all of us are going to learn to manage artificial intelligences in a way that gives us the results that we want. And it will touch everything from making the graphics to like making websites to making whatever. Now, this trend and the agents trend pushes us to the next sort of step of the trends, which is we are very quickly moving to a new level of abstraction, or rather new levels of abstractions very quickly. What I mean by that is like if in the previous world, people were thinking, okay, what picture do I put on this landing page, or what text do I put over here? They will be moving to the point, how do I put a task to an AI agent to create 10 of these landing pages for various audiences? And they will need to get that decision-making right, not the decision-making which picture to put or which text to use. And that capabilities are there across the board. You can say the same about the creatives. You can say the same about media buying. Instead of focusing on one campaign or one ad that you're doing, you will be focusing on hundreds, and you need to be able to define how you want those hundreds ads to be created by an AI to be effective and to be efficient. That's a new skill set, really, because it's not something most of the people are used to doing in marketing world.
Sure.
Now, if we come back to marketing, and those trends are sort of connected.
Yeah, it's definitely crossed here.
Yeah. It's all crossing each other very easily. But I think the biggest trend is hyper personalization, and again, it touches on everything. We're gonna have landing pages, pieces of material, in influencer feeds and ads and everything else that is going to be hyper personalized to your needs at this particular moment, at this particular location. And whoever does that best will be able to convert better into whatever sales they need to make. Actually, what we are building is a really good example, because like in the strategy piece that we have, you can develop a number of target audiences that you talk to. They will all have their own psychographic demographic analysis. They will have their own customer persona definitions, as well as value propositions and optimal channels to reach them. And when you put it to the next level, which is, okay, let's make creatives and let's execute those campaigns, it's going to be super hyper personalized based on these individual profiles.
Let's come back to the digital first approach. It's very important when you are creating some AI tool to build this first AI approach culture in your team. How big is your team? Do you have this culture? How do you implement it? Because I was talking about this with huge companies like Udemy, with small startups, and everyone had this struggle and everyone had this challenge.
I'm glad you asked this question, because we are going through the transformation like literally now and over the course of last few months probably. And I can say that it's going well. I'm happy to report, as they say. I'm happy to report that it's actually going well.
How do you measure that it's going well?
You remember in this conversation already, I mentioned to you that we got to the point when we can build our agents in a matter of days rather than weeks and months that it was before. And not just that, now I have my non-technical folks, my CSM and my marketers who are able to create those agents from scratch within our framework. With at the output they get
it's
not
no
just
code interface, low code interface.
It's a natural language code interface.
Okay.
Put it this way. So we're using to go into details. We have 13 people in the company now. Going to have 14 in a week. Somebody else is starting with us, and we're heavily using tools like Cursor and Zed and Windsurf sometimes and some others in order to automate our software development as much as we can. There are challenges, of course, that people who work with that actively, they understand and know that this is not yet a fully agentic coding system, but if you use it right, you can get really good results. So we're keeping our internal library of prompts that is it's really taken as our intellectual property, as our competitive advantage, because really if we see that something is going wrong in the process or it's giving us wrong output, we're fixing this prompt and it's incrementally becoming more and more valuable for this process, for development or for other parts of the company, because we're building our internal agents for us, for ourselves. Like that's one of the cases recently. Ed, our guy who's in marketing, he's not technical, he's not a coder, but we showed him what to do and how to deal with that, and he built the agent that researches the internet, looks at the most recent research papers and that kind of stuff, and based on that creates SEO optimized articles for our blog. It's a classical use case. I mean, a lot of people are doing that, but it was built by a non-technical person on our own framework. To me, that sounds like that was a breakthrough. That was like, okay, now we can do that kind of thing. And it really didn't take him that much of a time, to be quite honest. So yeah, and I'm not going to say that it's easy. I know, I'm feeling some resistance. Some developers are like, "What do you mean? Like somebody else is going to be coding for me?" No, it's not going to happen. There is a tendency to want to keep doing things the way they have been done. And I had to be, really harsh with the team at some point and say, guys, if you think that you will have the same kind of work in a year from now, you're mistaken. That's not going to happen. Everything is changing. Definitely. Your daily job is changing. We're all becoming managers of the artificial intelligence, and it's just unavoidable. And it seemed to have started to move better after that.
Share your toolkit. What are the most common used AI tools in your company? Ability.ai is without any ideas, but what are others? So
I think Cursor and Zed are very heavily used, and they're used
It's mostly for developers team, yes?
Not necessarily, no. They're used not only by our development team, but also by other folks. For example, my product team, when they're formulating tasks, they're using a library of prompts that they have in the combination with one of those tools in order to describe the task in the way that wouldn't have any questions from developers or something like that. And we of course use standard like ChatGPT and Claude. Actually, Claude more often than not. I think it's a little better from several perspectives. We probably mostly use it from the, through the API or maybe in the same Cursor and same Zed workflows. Now, another thing that we use, again, in development, but then what do you mean in development? In development is we are taking that and embedding into a certain agent that we have built internally for some internal use. And using that. So we're using plenty of various models from Replicate. Just there's a bunch of stuff that is available. Like when we're making creatives, there's video generation models that we're using from that website directly, even though it's crazy expensive, to be honest. Then whatever AI tools are given by Figma and Canva and other folks, I mean, to be honest, those things like image generation and that kind of stuff, they are commoditized to a large extent already, and it doesn't really matter in which platform you're using them. even with the video generation. I can barely tell the difference. Okay, no, not quite true. Soon I will be barely able to tell the difference between Sora kind of video generation or VO2 and something available open source on Replicate. It's getting so close and so marginal in those differences that it's a great progress to see, but again, a little bit scary. Yeah.
Definitely. Let's move through some checklists that will help our listeners to implement AI in their processes in performance marketing. So if we talk about step by step, how this checklist can look like, how we can help our customers to implement AI in like Ability.ai, AI agents in their performance marketing daily routine.
Before we were able to establish this new development process that allows us to run very, very quickly, what we had to do and what came with the biggest resistance is we had to throw away our playbook. Because look, I've built and sold to companies before. I came to this company, started this company with an idea that, listen, I know how to do it. I need to build certain processes and it's going to work, which is exactly what I started doing. Only until I realized that actually those processes are harmful at this point. Because they are created for the old world. They are created for the world where
what are the rules of the new one?
Say it again.
What are the rules of the new world?
I don't yet know what are the rules of the new world, but what I do know is that a lot of the processes are just not cut for this new world. Like if we're talking about, for example, again, take an example of the software development process, but really it can be applied to pretty much anything. Long sprint cycles and release cycles, huge pipelines of writing requirements for 2 weeks and then designing for another 2 weeks and then building for another 2 weeks, and that's if you're lucky. It's out of the window. It's not.
We are working in Ukraine with big clients, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so I think it's the first thing that needs to happen for those folks is a sort of a mental shift that accepts and appreciates the uncertainty and the speed of change. Because if you really deep inside think that actually not much is happening, you're screwed. It's a serious problem because things are changing with a dramatic pace, and we all are going to be in very different roles and positions, very, very soon. But more importantly, it will keep changing. It's not
Definitely.
like it's not a phase transition. Like before that, when we had a technology shift, it was almost like a phase transition. There's a mobile platform now. We're all going to mobile. Now we know how to operate in mobile. And now we're sort of settling down there. I feel like there's not going to be settling down.
No.
That's pretty much done. So it's a constant change and constant need and ability of people to adjust themselves to sort of meet the requirement of this new world and new market.
It's so old phrase, I don't remember, Confucius, which is the only one stable thing, it's changes. Yeah, it's all about changes, and definitely it's true about AI, that AI game change all stuff. If you come back to AI topic, we have big conflict in what you are doing, other guests of this studio are doing. It's on the one hand, GenAI revolution, everything is revolutionizing and pretty fast. On the other hand, it's confidentiality of data. To make AI works, you need data, but on the other hand, users try to cut this information. You will try to get some data from Google and Facebook and other platforms through API. These guys will try to cut this data. iOS will cut something, and they already did it with Facebook advertising a few years ago. So how do you see this conflict, how it can be solved? And we understand that AI without data, it's not AI. How this confidentiality conflict can be solved in your case?
I still think that AI with more limited amounts of data than before, for example, is still AI. I look at it this way. It's a shared playing field. Like if Apple cuts out Facebook from the app tracking data, this affects everyone who is playing this game, not just one company or giving another company a competitive advantage. So whatever happens on this market, maybe we'll have more personal data cut back and we'll have a lot less of that.
Yeah.
Well, then it just means that everybody will not be able to be super hyper personalized, and they can be less personalized.
Yeah, you mentioned hyper personalization as a trend, and confidentiality
I get it. There's a pressure from the other
is
side.
kicking it.
Yeah, there's a pressure from the other side to sort of kick it back a little bit. But the point is, it's for me, from a business perspective, right? It's the same playing field for everyone. It would be a different story if somebody has access to more data and others have access to less. But right now, it's just a market economy. Like if you want to go to data brokers and you have money to buy this data and this data is accurate, you go ahead and do that and you have it. If those data brokers are shut down because whatever regulation happened, well, then it's shut down for everyone. So that's the way I look at it. Like, and also if I speak from just a personal perspective, as a user for my personal data, there is this economy shift created right now for controlling this data overall. Like this apps, I don't remember the names, but they're on every YouTube channel or something, to sort of delete your data from every database, that kind of stuff, and keep it deleted. And it's just going to be a constant back and forth between those. It's, it's a trend and it's a rule. There's always going to be back and forth, but I don't think it necessarily does anything to AI trends.
What about ethical considerations?
What about it?
Everyone in this studio is telling that it's bullshit, forget. But if we talk about the consumers, about big brands, they are thinking about this. What is your point as the guy who is building AI tool about the ethical considerations from your big clients, potential big clients, from your customers? How do you see this, and how some things like biases can come in couple and work?
I think we need to work a little bit with you here to better define the question.
Yeah,
because you're intentionally giving to me in a very broad form.
Sure.
So I can give you pretty much any answer that will fit your profile. But I think if we want to have an honest discussions about that, which I'm open to, let's dive deeper. What kind of ethical questions you?
Well, in most cases, it's about biases,
right?
Yeah.
It's about biases in when people are buying something, or biases when brands are creating.
If you talk about even AI agents, that when you try to educate on some data, if it's biased data, so that's
a very specific problem.
It's a very specific problem, and there are a lot of small specific problems. What problems do you see that can make some noise in your industry, and what you are doing and what you are building?
I think there's a problem for big players like OpenAI, for example, and Anthropic and the rest.
For big ones, it's definitely a question.
Yeah, it's a huge question, and the question is, the first models were trained on basically everything they can reach, like everything they can put their hands on. It's no longer the case. These guys are running around and signing contracts with information providers, put it this way, to get access to their information to train these systems. Now, that's more like a data privacy thing, and I think it will be sold just with commercial market, and that's pretty much it. It's going to be a question of how much I pay you for getting access to this data and working with that. Now, the ethical part and the question of a bias, that's a very interesting one. I don't think I have a right answer, but let me try to contemplate it with you over here. First of all, there's plenty of research these days. It's one of the very big areas in large language models research that is attempting to address those questions. But if we take it a little bit more philosophical, then what large language model is a sort of a reflection of the sum average of what the whole world thinks, believes, or deals with. And I'm not sure that you can actually entirely solve that. You're just basically taking a snapshot. But considering that this is an intelligent system, you can manipulate it to make sure that it's not biased in the way that you want it. You don't want it to be.
Sure.
Problem is that everybody can manipulate it.
Yeah.
So if say raw LLM, like a raw OpenAI LLM, is biased in certain questions, then I can take this LLM and I can make it biased in other directions through my prompt techniques and that kind of stuff. Maybe the problem is not really at the large language model level, but rather at the level of ethical considerations of the services and agentic systems that are using that. Because really, I can make my agents do whatever I like. If for some reason protective mechanisms of OpenAI are not letting me, well, there's Llama, there's Mistral, there's something else always, and then it's basically unlock, and I can do whatever I like. So as always, it comes back to the ethical considerations of the end players in this game, which are the companies that are doing business, and to that extent, it's the same as it used to be. It's the same as it was before. Like your company has a reputation. My company has a reputation. And I really don't want this reputation to be broken because of my agent saying something.
Some bad things.
Some bad things, and that's my objective to take care of that. That's my objective to make sure it's not happening.
We were talking a lot about AI agents, and it's definitely the big thing for this year. I already see the big thing for the next year, and what will move your service, what will move Ability.ai to 2026, 2027? What will be the next big thing in AI?
I think we're approaching a point where we will start talking about. There was a good term I forgot about what they said about it, but basically like complex intelligent systems. What we have, just to give a simplistic example, what we have is ChatGPT is just a one-layer system. You ask a raw LLM and respond something, you're done. Then we can talk about agent systems. An agent system consists of many components, or could consist of many components that somehow collaborate. If you add to that, I don't know, memory components, some databases, RAG, something else, it ends up being like a complex intelligent system. Point I'm trying to make here is that we're reaching the point when we will just keep expanding the complexity and capabilities of those systems.
It's a good point.
To handle bigger and bigger use cases.
I also felt that on the market, and it's definitely true.
So I don't think it's gonna end in any way. It's just like we now have.
It's personalized beginning for everyone. Will try to personalize the systems for own tasks, for the niches, for the topics, and so on.
Exactly.
Let's dive in personal, Eugene. In your Instagram profile, I saw the AI guy who is interested in Buddhism. What is common between AI and Buddhism?
So it's a great question. Thank you. I'm not interested only in AI. I'm interested in the way intelligence and consciousness works, and how it originates, where it comes from, how it functions, etc. And that has been my thing for many years, since I don't know, maybe teenage years. So while AI and computer science is the way to explore how to create those intelligent systems, Buddhism is a way to understand the intelligent system that is already there, and
like long term,
like your own mind, which is the deeper you dive there, the more you find that it's very different from what you would have described before you dove in. It's a lot deeper and has many dark and light corners that do require some processing and some attention. So I guess this is where my interest to Buddhism comes in. And also, honestly, it's just I have always been like scientific person, kind of rational skeptic, and that's an appeal of the Buddhism for me, that really, while with the cultural layer, it can be perceived as a religious movement, but really it's not a religion at the core. It's basically a teaching, a science about the mind and how it works.
Yeah, it's really interesting. If we talk about your knowledge in AI, you told that you already had some education in that field. How do you still keep in touch with all new things which are daily updated? What blogs are you reading? Which channels are you following on X, etc.? For the guys who are interested in AI topic, was it the best way to keep in touch with a huge amount of information in this field?
The simple answer is I don't. During last year, I gave up on attempting to grasp everything.
Okay.
I don't think it's humanly possible, first of all, and second of all, I think it's harmful. Because right now, in the way where market is, the information to noise ratio is ridiculous. You get so much stuff that is not relevant to you, even though it's kind of interesting and it's like triggering your dopamine centers and you feel like, oh, I learned something new, cool. But in reality, it's the same as scrolling through Instagram. So I do the following. I have a number of YouTubers that I'm following, like AI Explained. There's a nice guy in the UK, Wes Roth, and a couple of others. I don't remember the exact names, to be honest. And I read them. I read like things like TechCrunch for entrepreneurial news and that kind of stuff. And I'm subscribed to a number of newsletters, AI-specific newsletters. And that's more than enough for me. And what I know is that if there's something important, truly important happening, this information will find me. There's no question about it. It will find me. Other information, I will only find if I need on my way to my goal. Like that's the way I'm trying to look at that. I have an objective, I'm going to that. If along the way I'm finding this new findings and information, it's great. If not, then maybe it's not that important.
Let's come back one more time to personal life. What is the most tricky way how you used AI for your personal life?
Oh, there's plenty actually. I think I have relationships with AI that are, I feel like they're going deeper now than just a random system. I mean, there's plenty of practical use cases. For example, like I sit down with ChatGPT, I gave it like my medical tests results, description of myself and stuff like that. And I said, okay, let's develop like a supplement plan for me. And we sit down, we developed it, we found the brands that are the best for this, and we found where to buy that, and it's done. Another fun stuff was as I was working with a therapist and I recorded the sessions and then I basically fed those sessions to the AI and we've developed like, okay, why don't you...
It was some type of MyGPT or Claude AI agent or what it was?
Yeah, it was Claude or something. I don't remember. And then we're like, okay, let's summarize it, find the main issues to work through, find suggestions to deal with that and stuff like that. I wouldn't say it was very useful, but it was fun. It was interesting. A friend of mine actually, he's working with Claude to control his dietary restrictions. And basically Claude, he said like, okay, Claude is now my, what do you call that? Dietitian?
Dietologist.
Okay. Dietologist, nutritionist.
Nutritionist, okay.
Claude is my nutritionist and I only eat what it says I'm okay to eat and where it says I'm okay to eat it. So it goes to like, okay, he's showing him which restaurant to go to and what to order from the menu.
It's interesting.
To actually, do this kind of stuff. What else? Well, I gotta say, I often chat with like advanced voice mode on ChatGPT. It's a useful tool to spitball ideas, especially considering that it has some memory, like based on ChatGPT's memory. It's basic, I understand, but still, I find it very useful to have this on-the-go conversation with them. Yeah. What about you? You have some interesting use cases?
I have 3 kids, and for me, ChatGPT is drawing Spider-Man from Lego, Harry Potter from Lego, Kling is making them alive, and that's how my evenings usually go through. And also, I'm a little bit composer, so soon AI helps me to create some rap.
Music,
some raps that I love. So
nice. Yeah. One more thing I just remembered. I go to we're in Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you. I don't know Portuguese yet. Mm-hmm. But I go to the store and I need to buy something. I'm just taking a picture of this whole shelf and saying, okay, tell me which one I need. It's like, go take this one. Like, okay, thank you. That's done.
Yes, a good way. Maybe the last question, can you share your personal list of AI tools that you use for your personal life? We've shared a lot that you use in business, but on the daily basis, ChatGPT and Claude is okay. Do you use other tools?
To be honest, I'm not sure I have personal life.
It's a good answer for founder, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, outside of, I have a number of pet projects that are not directly related to what we do in Ability, but they're still, agentic systems kind of. And I'm basically working in Cursor to build those. And within those, I'm using all sorts of agentic helpful APIs. I'm using 11 Labs, I'm using Replicate, I'm using Hugging Face, I'm using something else I forgot. Oh, I'm using a lot of the Google native, Google Cloud native services for that. And really, if I need to make something for myself, like a tool that will automate something right now, and I think it's a trend.
You will go and do it.
Exactly. It's way easier for me to go ahead and make it happen than to even find that.
Yeah.
Because right now there's so many. It's just...
Yeah, if you talk about any text tasks, I have, I don't know, maybe 50 my GPTs that I use on not regular basis, but I have them in my toolkit. And if I need some routine daily tasks for any copywriting, tables, etc., my GPT definitely will solve this issue. So it definitely will help. Eugene, it was a great pleasure to have in our studio. Guys, don't forget to ask questions to Eugene in comments. Eugene, are you ready to answer them?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you in the next GenAI Revolution podcast. Thank you, Eugene.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.